Good morning, friends. It's Vicki over at my terrace house garden this morning. The sun is not quite over the treetops, so I thought the lighting looked really good to see how things are growing this morning. I moved my little address sign up because the catmint is getting so big. So things are looking pretty good. I am, of course, seeing stuff that should get cut back. Like, even though these have a lot of color on them, I'm thinking about cutting back these dark purple salvia. Oh, look, there's another catmint up there. It looks really nice. There's more salvia up there too. And this pink, sorry, I'm skipping past stuff. Here's all of my sedums and cactuses. I've got some pretty lilies in bloom right now. Behind the lilies there are, what are those called? They're a type of lamb's ear. This one that's on the left side there, I moved it so it was right here, and then my Gara is getting so big that I had to move some things. So I moved it to the other side, and you can see it's, you know, suffering a bit from being transplanted. But anyway, I was coming down here to this pink salvia. Like, some of it still looks pretty good, but then some of it clearly is due for cutback. So even my yarrows, which were looking great, are already starting to get old. So I might cut those back soon. So anyway, lots of things to get cut back, but I'm really trying to embrace the idea that once the garden is really overflowing and full, then when you cut back something, you should always have something else that's like taking, you know, your eyes away and drawing your attention. And so it really just is like cutting back those things that are going out of bloom to let the other stuff shine that's looking pretty. And that includes things that just have great foliage. So you don't always have to have 100% color. In fact, I think I don't know if it's just getting older or being more experienced as a gardener, I'm starting to enjoy more having less color, like more just shades of green with pops of color here and there. So I don't know if that's just my changing taste, or maybe it's something that happens to most gardeners as time goes on. Not really sure. These purple salvia right here, I had cut those back about I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I can see a lot more blooms coming up, so that's nice. A lot of my cone flowers, these are about to kind of come into their peak period. The couple of clumps, I don't know if you can see which ones I'm talking about, right there and right there, those are 2 clumps of goldenrod. And I used to have a much bigger section up there. I took most of it out because, first of all, I just didn't need that much of it up here. I don't even really need any of it up here. It's the tall type, and if I have some goldenrod up here, there's one that tolerates shade and it stays like 1 to 3 feet. I think I'm going to try to get some of that and put some of that maybe up over in this area so that it'll be, there's a steep slope. It could grow back up on that slope, and also just not be as tall, but still give me that pop of goldenrod. Whereas this one is so tall, it probably gets like 5 or 6 feet tall, and then it tips forward. And it's very pretty, don't get me wrong, but also it had spread through the terrace quite a bit. And anyway, I just wanted to take some out and put, you know, make room for like my penstemon and other stuff that I have going back in there. And you can't really see it right now, but this area behind the lamb's ear border, there's going to be a large planting of milkweed, the orange milkweed. And in fact, I already have 5 of them up there. So in a recent video, you might have heard me say that I only thought 1 survived from being planted last year. But I went up there and looked closer and counted, and there was actually 5 of them that are alive. They don't look the hottest, but since I don't have any water or anything, there's not much I can do. And I do have 3 or 4 more of them though over at the rental house. So I'm planning to wait until we do have the water running, and then I'm going to transplant those over and add them to this section. I also have another healthy piece of Russian sage that I would like to add to my Russian sage. Although I am also kind of thinking about moving that somewhere else. Because again, over time, I've just wanted more and more things that stay short on these terraces so that you can still see the terrace walls. I think they're really beautiful, and it's a shame to block them so much. So, and then I say that, and then I have these like 4 terraces that I don't even have planted really with anything. It's almost just completely weeds and grass at this point. But this one has a lot of 4 o'clocks that have come back from seed. So this one at least has something interesting going on. It'll have some color here soon. That one looks like even might have some 4 o'clocks that might have seeded from the bottom. Over here though, I mean, I might see like 1 or 2. Like, see, there's one right there. It might be more than 1, but I can see a 4 o'clock there, and then another one right over there. That's it. The rest of it's all grass. So I don't understand. I know that they seed heavily, but it seems that most of them fall down. So like I'll find them down in here, or I have, here's some here. I had a ton of 4 o'clocks all the way down this sidewalk, and I've already pulled out most of those because I wanted to get this area cleaned up. In fact, I brought my shovel today. I'm going to go along and scoop all of this mulch that has, you know, gotten pushed out from the rain and get it back up in here. I do obviously have a problem here of rain runoff, and it really is digging up this area. So that's unfortunate, but these plants that I planted, these are the, oh gosh, low grow, I can't remember the name. I'll put it on the screen, but this entire row is lined with these plants, and they are a native cultivar of a plant. Anyway, they should stay like no more than, I'd say, like 2 feet tall, and eventually they will spread throughout here. So let's go look at one. This one has spread. So like it sends out little underground, you know, stems, and those eventually, it will just eventually fill out this whole space. And so then I don't have to worry about, here's one where like the stem was either laid down and this popping back up, or maybe it grew under there. I'm not really sure. Here's another one that did that. So I just have to be patient. With time, this entire thing will fill in, and then the roots of these plants will keep this very stable, and I shouldn't even have to mulch. Eventually it'll just be a nice solid green carpet that is good for, you know, my native animals and stuff like that. But yeah, right now, until these roots and everything start spreading, like I really have this problem with the water pushing everything off. So I'm just gonna scoop that back up and put it back in the terrace. Okay, but coming back over to here, yeah, the Russian sage is looking pretty, not in bloom yet. You can see the seed pods from the Baptisia up there, kind of cool. My orange ditch lily about to open up some blooms. And by the way, there was a bigger patch of that over there. I dug up a bunch of that already. Maybe, I don't know, like half of that trash can full I've already pulled. So I'm starting to get that out like I said I was going to. And my other task is to get this group out down here. I also took some out of this side when I transplanted these 2 extra pincushion flowers. So I planted those recently, so they're not looking great, the ones in the back there, but they will hopefully pop back up and, you know, start looking good with these. So, all right. See, my coreopsis have opened up there, the yellow ones, and the orange lilies. Those tall Asiatic type, those are pretty. my snow and summer is all done blooming. So I'll come through and cut these off. I think these are pretty prolific little spreaders, so they probably don't need my help, but that's kind of what I plan to do. It's just let them fill in a bit. Okay, folks, well, I might do a little bit of after video, but for now, this is what I am happy with showing you. And I will talk to you soon. Okay guys, I had to pick back up here at the upper terrace because things are looking really pretty and I don't want to lose this light, or I just wanted to add this part of the video on before I lose this light. So I've told you many stories about what I wanted this area to be. It's always changing over time. So initially, before the tree fell, I was trying to turn this whole side of my yard into like a hydrangea slash part shade garden, because that's really what I have going on over here, is a lot of part shade. There's the trees, it's in between the homes. It just doesn't get a lot of hours of direct sunlight. So this is the east side of my house, and that's what I was originally going to do. But I discovered how badly the deer were eating my hydrangeas, which is still going on. I just found some new fresh deer damage here, so you can see how they just come in and bite the tops off, which I'm assuming is just the most tender growth and the, you know, the buds, the actual flower buds. So that's unfortunate. But anyway, so after I realized how badly the deer were eating the hydrangeas and the roses that they can get to and stuff like that, I decided I needed to move those things behind the fence once we redo the backyard. So then I decided to turn this area into kind of like a native little prairie. It was supposed to be wider. It was gonna, you know, include part of this here. But then as time went on and we realized we had to have this retaining wall, like my gardening space kept getting smaller, and then I have to have a sidewalk coming through here, so that's going to take up most of this space. I do plan to have a flower garden on this level, and I'm debating whether I want it up against the house or up against the wall. And I really think probably up against the house, because I want to be able to just sit along this wall. It's a great level for sitting, and so I just think that would be the best place for the sidewalk. So anyhow, going back to this though, it's looking really pretty. And my most current version of what I'm using this for is just kind of an everything garden. I have a lot of residual natives that are growing here from previous years. Like this is obedient plant. This is my pink milkweed. I'm drawing a blank, but there's lots more. There's lots of things that I've planted in here over time. I'm trying to make it more, you know, more native and all that stuff. But then, because it really can't be this kind of prairie that I wanted it to be, just don't have enough space to really pull that off, I decided to make it just kind of an herb garden. That's something I can step out of my kitchen and come over here and get ingredients for herbs, tea, that sort of thing. But I really need to focus on the things that the deer don't like as much. So I try to do, you know, just the plants that they're not as fond of. So that does actually include most herbs, because a lot of herbs smell strong and I guess they don't like that. So like you can see here this is a scented geranium, and I really just put this here because supposedly it's supposed to ward off the deer, and that's one edge where they could get in. Another is along the back. I put another one of those scented geraniums back there. But the overall planning or plan is not really so much to prevent them from getting in there, it's just to deter them from having any reason to go in there. So over time I'll just plant things that the deer aren't fond of. But for right now, because I don't have anywhere to do my vegetable garden and I just have a lot of things that I wanted to grow, and I don't want to waste another whole year because of this situation that we're in and with the house taking so long, I decided to go ahead and start kind of using this as a little vegetable garden area as well. So at least for this year, that's what we have going on here. So I planted a ton of sweet potato slips in throughout this area. This side gets more sun, that's why it's more full. than over here on this side. Down here really does turn into a lot more shade. And I'm mainly planning on focusing on things that don't need as much sun, like kale and lettuces and chard and stuff like that. I'll try to plant over here. It's just so I can still have that area being utilized, but it doesn't need as much sun. So that's the plan. I think it's looking really pretty. I also have some squashes that I planted in here. Like, I don't know which ones are which because I didn't label them. I just literally poked seeds in the ground. By the way, there's a pepper plant that now is getting completely covered by this. It has one little pepper on it. Can you see it? But it's getting covered by this squash. So maybe I should move that to like right here or something. But anywho, that is carrots from last year that are coming back. This one with the pretty white umbels. I believe this one might be a zucchini, but that's another sort of squash that I've got growing in here. Again, I don't know which ones are which. I just planted a bunch of different big leafed things that will snake through here and make this garden look completely full and, you know, overflowing. I have 2 tomatoes. I have a third one that I bought it's at the rental house. I just bought it on impulse because it was the very last vegetable plant they had at the store. Like, everything was on clearance. It was super cheap. And it was already bigger than both of these, and it already had a couple tomatoes on it. And I was like, how can I not buy that? So I went ahead and bought it, and I didn't bring it over to plant it. I don't know if I can trust how much rain we're gonna get, and I don't want to plant it over here and have it die since I don't have any water to water it in. So for now, it's over at the other rental house, and hopefully I'll be able to bring it back over here to add to my little garden here soon. And maybe I'll just pop it like right back there in front of the iris. Probably be a good spot. But anyhow, you guys, I think that even though it is a hodgepodge, not at all what I had planned for this area, making the most of it. I was actually pulling grass right over here before I decided I better do this video real quick. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to come in and start pulling grass and stuff out of this area, trying to keep everything in here under control. And then once these big leaves, squashes and whatnot start spreading out, it will, you know, block the weeds for me. I need to go investigate something I just saw, so I will take you with me. Yeah, this end down here, like, I still need to weed. This whole area is just not looking great. And I feel like I did plant some things down here already, like the shade type big leaf veggies and stuff. Maybe that's one of them. I don't really know what they look like. I'm not much of a vegetable gardener, so that's kind of my other issue is I have to really wait for things to start growing before I know what they are. Here's some strawberries that are doing well along this front here, and I need to get some straw to put under them, or at least some more mulch or something, because I planted them completely all the way across here, but I think a lot of them have already gotten buried by this rain runoff. So I don't know if those will come back out or not. Here's my other hydrangea. This one doesn't appear to have been hit, so maybe we'll get some. Oh, there's a bite right there, but that one looks like an old bite. But anyway, maybe we'll get something. Okay, what did I see over here? Something looks like it's been knocked down. Oh yes. So this is probably where deer came in and just stepped through, I'm guessing, the garden, because either that or this just decided to splay out because of how heavy it is. But this is that carrot that was looking so pretty. And now I'm wondering if I should cut these stalks off that have fallen down. Like, what is this? Oh. No. That. Oh, okay. I think I see what's going on here. This is... I'm sorry if this camera coverage is bad. This is... my God, what are they called? echinacea. This is a big echinacea that has either been stepped on or just splayed out. So it has fallen down. Yeah, this is just coming off. And so has this. So I'm pretty convinced that something came in here and stepped on these, because both the echinacea and this carrot flower are kind of like splayed out. And that's unfortunate because I don't know if I can make it look good again. But all of the buds have already started growing up. So they've splayed out flat and now they're starting to turn up at the ends. So if I just left it, I'm pretty sure that we will still get those blooms. It's just unfortunate. Might have to take these ones off that are going backwards and into my neighbor's yard because they probably don't like that. But despite kind of the messiness, I am happy with how this garden is going. I like the crazy overflowing abundance. I don't know my milkweeds apart. I just know that this is a pink one. It's probably the fancy milkweed if I have to guess, because I think the common milkweed is the one that has the fatter leaves. Ooh, like this. I'm pretty sure this is common. And I think this one might be fancy or swamp. Again, I'm not really sure. A bunch of cosmos, and I'm just telling you now, they've reseeded themselves, but sadly they're in an area that just doesn't get enough sun. So they always are kind of floppy and don't do the best. But I just keep letting them come back every year because they're charming. And I don't have anything else going on with this space yet. So eventually I'll probably relocate those to, or not relocate them, but seed them somewhere else so that I have cosmos in a better area. This is cilantro in bloom. I've been reading a lot about companion plants and certain plants that, are great for your garden because they draw in predator insects that eat the ones that are bad. And cilantro is one of them. In fact, apparently most flowers that have this open kind of umbral style of flower, apparently most of them do that. Same as this kind of, the carrot. So, well, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is a update on my garden on, let's see, it is June 15th today. So I will try to get this posted. I actually have a video from June 10th that I'm debating about whether I'm going to post or not. If I do decide to post it, it'll be right before this one, so you'll get kind of a 2 back-to-back. But I was complaining a lot on that video, and I don't like it when I do that. Sometimes I'm just like in a mood, feeling overwhelmed by everything that's going on in life, and I just start complaining. And then I realize when I'm watching it back, I'm like, look at all of the beautiful flowers and all the beautiful things I have in my life, and all I could do is just complain. And I hate that, and so that's why I haven't posted it yet. But if I decide to, you'll see it. If not, it was only 5 days ago. This is not too different from what things were looking like that day. But again, thank you for coming to see my garden. I don't have an update on the house yet. That was one of the reasons I was complaining on my last video, and I'm not going to do it again on this one, so you guys will just have to keep waiting. But eventually, I promise, we will be back at our home. All right, well, I'm going to let you go. Talk to you later. Bye.